All right, everybody. Good morning. This is the Church of Zen, um, we're a non-denominational church of the Lord, and we're here to spread the message of God. The message of God. A lot of people are sort of confused with, God these days. It's very individualistic time right now. Atheism is spreading and seems to be on the rise in America, where we're founded, and it's just a lot of confusion and a lot of dismay and frustration in this country right now. And we're here to kind of ease some of that here. It's not our main goal, but it'd be nice to have some more chiller atmosphere, more relaxed atmosphere. Um, so one of the preachings of Jesus in the Fifth Testament in Ezekiel 29, paragraph 4, he says, "Thou shalt keep a bonsai tree." And he says to keep a bonsai tree because it adds some stability into your life, keeps you stable, and you have to take care of that tree. It's sort of like your responsibility. When we stop thinking about ourselves as much and we start to think about others, I feel like our life increases in a way, our happiness increases. Because if you focus on yourself, it's just sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy of depression. Like, you are dying, you are decreasing every single year. You're losing hair. Your dick might not work eventually. Your breasts are sagging. Your ass is getting flat. Your skin's wrinkly. Everything is going downhill. Everything is going downhill fast. And if you focus on yourself mainly as your main priority in life, I'm not saying you shouldn't focus on yourself. You should, but you need to put something else sort of above it, something that will outlast you. And I think that's very important to have a successful life. That's sort of what the religious aspect of life gives people, but you can also have it through like a humanitarian goal, or some sort of vision for your life. Like, you want to create a company that will do blah blah XXX and blah blah blah, whatever, or create some music that will inspire people, or any sort of thing like that. And so yeah, so God says to keep a bonsai tree. If you're just starting out on this journey, just start simple. Have a bonsai tree. You prune it. It takes a while to grow. It requires patience. You have to water it every day. Give it sunlight. If you start with the seed versions, they're a lot more time consuming. Like, to get to the spot where you actually see a tree, you can buy pre-made bonsai trees as well. Those are also great. But yeah. So yeah, the Lord says to keep a bonsai tree, and I'm tired as fuck. It's 12 in the morning right now, or 12 a.m. And yeah, I guess my internet. I don't know what's going on with the internet. I'm supposed to get internet, but I'm not getting it. Yeah, so the Lord says to keep a bonsai tree, and yeah, we've got a message here from one of our social media sites on Facebook. Got a message here from so-called Prophet Prophet X. Sounds a little bit like Malcolm X. I don't know, brother. You might be going on a fine line here, but it's from Prophet X on Facebook. He says that he has a new religion out that's gaining popularity based on the story, theory, or something. The stories of Atlantis. I've never heard of this religion before. Apparently, it's getting popular. I don't know. That's what this man says. He says that also Trump is a follower of this Atlantic religion. Has something to do with German idealism. I've never heard of this. I have no idea what this is. I mean, if you follow it and it helps you live a better life, I guess sure, follow it. I've never heard of it. I don't know what it's about, but um, yeah, go for it. Go spread your religion and see what happens. So good luck with that. I have here's another. I'll tell a story right now. My brother from the deep south came in with a hatchet, and he saw this buckatoo. Now, a buckatoo is a large animal, a mammal. A manimal. This is a manimal. It's not a mammal. This is a manimal. This is a large man, a buckatoo. This is a buckatoo. This is a buckatoo. This is a man from the south, a manimal. A large man, for kind of like a caveman, a man of the woods. He saw a buckatoo, and this buckatoo was trying to eat his cattle. He was taking some bows and arrows and shooting the cattle in the head, and this was not cool because this was this man's cattle. He saw this buckatoo. This old man took his hatchet and straight ran right for that motherfucker like it was Pickett's charge, man. This man just ran right at this dude. This dude looked at this man. He was getting out of arrows. He didn't even see this man because, he doesn't have anyone ever come at him like that. The cows just always run away. And he's coming up from the field and he's shooting at this cow to the right. He does not see this man at the far left. This dude runs up and he chucks his hatchet. He makes a whoo, a sound of exertion, and this hatchet comes spinning towards this man, towards his face. He turns to look. His eyes are wide open. He sees the hatchet right before it barrels into the middle of his forehead, knocking him out, splitting his head, cracking open his skull as well. A major impact, and the man dies. Now, this farmer always questions, was it the right move? Because he could have just allowed that buckatoo to live and maybe eat some of the cattle. But then again, this is a large man and he ate a lot of food. This is a big ass dude. And, I think maybe killing him was the best option. You never know. Yeah, maybe killing him was the best option. He always wonders, maybe if he could have just told the man to run away, what would happen? But he was always worried that he might have got shot or something. I knew a child once. His name was Bobby Billy Bean, and Bobby Billy Bean grew up in the east side of Boston. And this man ate a lot of pizza and corn knuckles, pizza and corn knuckles, and he came from Boston. And the Boston accent, the Boston boys, Boston. And Bobby Billy Bean, Bobby Billy Bean came from Boston, and nice accent. And he went to the show one day called the Boston Boys, and he went to the show and they told him a story. They had a long story about trees, talking about trees, not marijuana, but trees, and talking about all the deciduous trees, carnivorous trees, deciduous, carnivorous, brown trees, black trees, white trees, pine trees, alpine trees, everything. Gueco trees, from the Caribbean, the gueco trees, a lot of trees. And while they're having watching the movie, a tree just randomly shot up from the ground. And it was every single tree. It was lots of trees. It was a tree with many trees on it. It was a single brown tree branch, but then lots of the branches were of different trees. This was one of the rare multicultural trees. There are not many of these around anymore. These multicultural trees. Accept all of the types of trees, and they proliferate all their qualities, and you could see every single type of tree branch on this main tree stump. So it's one tree with all the trees. And this was one of the rare trees. But what happened was, after seeing this movie about the trees, each man took a branch for himself. At the end of the movie, the tree had no branches and it died. And it was just a normal tree, and they cut it down. Some rare occurrence. Maybe one of those weird government programs, who knows. And never heard from him again. Alright, that's it. This is what's this? Church's End. This Church's End sermon number, I think, 5 or something. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.